But you know that it always happens to character people. The face is known, but the name is never attached to it.
Yeah. Is that hard on your ego?
No, I think it's a compliment to the work that you've done.
Albert Salmi was a respected actor with a career spanning decades, known for his intense performances on stage and screen. He starred in numerous westerns and television dramas, leaving a lasting impression on audiences. Despite his success, his life took a tragic turn. On April 23, 1990, he killed his estranged wife, Roberta Pollock Taper, before taking his own life. The shocking murder-suicide left many questioning how a man who had once captivated audiences could commit such a violent act. Early life and background. Albert Salmi was born March 11, 1927, in Brooklyn, to Finnish immigrant parents. Growing up in a Finnish-speaking household, he faced the challenges of learning English upon entering school. Reflecting on his early years, he once said, quote, "The actor learns from the audience if the actor is aware." This awareness and adaptability became hallmarks of his acting career. After graduating from high school, he served in the U.S. Army during World War II. Utilizing the GI Bill upon his return, he pursued his passion for acting by studying at the dramatic workshop of the American Theater Wing and later at the prestigious Actors Studio under Lee Strasberg. This rigorous training laid the foundation for his method acting approach, emphasizing genuine emotional expression and deep character immersion. Salmi's early life was marked by a blend of cultural heritage, military service, and dedicated artistic training. Rise to fame. Albert Salmi's path to stardom began in the theater, where his commanding presence and method acting training set him apart. His breakthrough came in 1955 when he played the role of Bo Decker in the original Broadway production of Bus Stop. The character, a brash and naive cowboy, required a balance of rough intensity and emotional vulnerability, qualities that Salmi delivered with ease. His performance earned him widespread acclaim, leading to offers from Hollywood. But when the opportunity arose to reprise his role in the 1956 film adaptation opposite Marilyn Monroe, he turned it down. Salmi later explained his reasoning, stating, quote, "I just didn't want to do the Hollywood scene. I wanted to be an actor, not a star." Despite his reluctance to chase movie stardom, Salmi found steady work in film and television. He made a strong impression in The Brothers Karamazov in 1958, playing the tormented Fyodor Karamazov opposite Yul Brynner. The same year, he appeared in The Bravados with Gregory Peck, solidifying his reputation as a capable character actor. His rugged features and intense style made him a natural fit for westerns, and he soon became a familiar face in the genre. Television provided Salmi with even greater visibility, and he became a frequent guest star on popular shows throughout the 60s and 70s. He appeared in episodes of Gunsmoke, Bonanza, Rawhide, and The Twilight Zone, often playing outlaws, sheriffs, or morally complex figures. Unlike many actors who found themselves typecast, Salmi embraced his range. Quote, "I don't care about being a leading man," he once said. "The character roles have more meat to them. They give you something to play." His ability to bring depth to even the most minor roles kept him in high demand for decades. By the mid-70s, he had transitioned into supporting roles in both film and television, but his commitment to the craft never wavered. Whether playing a hard-nosed detective in Petrocelli or a conflicted soldier in Combat, Salmi delivered performances that felt real. His rise to fame had not been overnight, but his dedication and talent earned him respect among both audiences and fellow actors. While he never achieved A-list celebrity status, he built a career that many in Hollywood admired. Personal life. Albert Salmi's career kept him in the public eye, but his personal life was often tumultuous. His first marriage was to actress Peggy Ann Garner in 1956. Garner, a former child star who had won an Academy Juvenile Award for A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, was well known in Hollywood circles. The marriage seemed promising at first, but the relationship soon soured. They divorced in 1963, reportedly due to Salmi's temper and growing frustration with his career. Garner later described their time together as filled with passion but impossible to sustain. Not long after, Salmi met and married Roberta Pollock Taper in 1964. Unlike his first wife, Roberta was not a Hollywood figure. The couple settled into a quieter life, eventually raising two daughters, Elizabeth and Jennifer. Salmi's work in television allowed him to provide a stable home for his family, but behind closed doors, tensions grew. Friends later recalled that Salmi struggled with his temper and his drinking only made matters worse. In the 1980s, Salmi and Roberta relocated from Los Angeles to Spokane, Washington, hoping for a fresh start. By then, his career had slowed, and he spent more time teaching acting classes and participating in local theater productions. While he still found fulfillment in his work, he seemed frustrated by the lack of recognition. His daughter Jennifer later described him as, quote, a man who wanted more but never quite got it. Despite his career accomplishments, Salmi was never satisfied. His relationships, personally and professionally, often suffered because of his inability to control his emotions. His second marriage, which had lasted more than 25 years, eventually unraveled. In February 1990, Roberta filed for divorce, citing abuse and threats. A restraining order was issued against Salmi, marking the beginning of a dark and tragic final chapter in his life. The tragic incident. On the morning of April 23, 1990, Albert Salmi and his estranged wife Roberta were found dead in their Spokane, Washington home. Police quickly determined that it was a murder-suicide. Salmi had shot Roberta before turning the gun on himself. The news shocked those who knew him, as many still saw him as the rugged, charismatic actor who had once graced television screens across America. The days leading up to the tragedy painted a picture of a man unraveling. Salmi had been struggling with the reality of his failed marriage. The divorce proceedings, coupled with his declining career, left him despondent. Though he had never been a major Hollywood star, he had built a steady career that he believed deserved more recognition. His frustration had festered over the years, and the end of his marriage seemed to push him over the edge. Friends recalled that he had spoken of his despair, but no one had expected such a violent outcome. His daughter Jennifer later reflected on the tragedy, saying, quote, he was a broken man. He didn't know how to deal with what was happening to him. While those close to Roberta had feared for her safety, many had assumed that Salmi's anger would burn itself out in isolation. Instead, it turned deadly. The murder-suicide cast a shadow over his legacy. Salmi had been a well-respected actor, known for his intensity and dedication to his craft. Yet his final act left behind a devastating truth. His personal demons had consumed him. The tragedy left his family, friends, and former colleagues struggling to reconcile the man they had known with the one who had committed such a horrific act. Aftermath and legacy. The news of the murder-suicide stunned his family and the entertainment industry. Though he had stepped away from Hollywood years earlier, those who had worked with him remembered him as a serious actor with an unwavering dedication to his craft. His violent end was difficult to comprehend. His former co-stars and directors struggled to reconcile the actor they had known with the man who had taken his wife's life before ending his own. His daughters, Elizabeth and Jennifer, were left to grapple with the shocking reality of their father's actions. Jennifer, in particular, spoke openly about the pain of losing both parents in such a horrific way. Quote, it's hard to explain how you can love someone who did something so terrible, she said. He was my father, and I know there was good in him, but I can't excuse what he did. Her words reflected the complexity of Salmi's legacy. He was both a beloved father and a deeply troubled man. Now it's time to hear from you. What part of Albert's story was the most shocking to you? Let us know in the comments section below.